Chill Talk.
Chill Talk.
Chill Talks.
Welcome to Chill Talks Podcast, your companion in your chill time.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chill Talks Podcast, where we discuss anything and everything over a cup of coffee. So I am your host once again, forever again. Alam nyo na yan, DJ, and today we are joined by a very special guest. She is one of the rising ambassadress and influencer here in Camarines Norte, and I have the honor and privilege to introduce to you Miss Nicole Diaz. Hi Nicole, good afternoon. And thank you so much for accepting my humble invitation sa episode natin. So, for the benefit of our audience, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I am Nicole Diaz, a third-year BS Tourism student. I am also an influencer and brand ambassador.
Okay, so ano tawag yan? For the clarification of everyone, kasi ang alam lang naman natin is influencer, ambassador is almost the same thing. Pero based on your experience, ano yung pinagkaiba ng pagiging ambassadress and pagiging influencer?
Parang sa influencer po, parang ano ba how should I say this? Sa brand, nire-represent mo yung brand itself, while being an influencer, nire-represent mo yung brand, and also you are influencing other people to engage or try that specific brand.
Okay, kasi isa sa mga naririnig kong comments ng mga tao sa social media or even my friends in general, nag-i-interview daw ako ng mga influencers. The question is, ano naman ang ini-influence? Ano naman ang ini-influence nila? Diba? Parang it's a very common connotation when it comes to that. And sa tingin mo, Nicole, ano ang mga misconceptions ng mga tao when it comes to the concept of an influencer?
So, para po sa akin, yung mga misconceptions and such, parang ang tingin nila, ganda lang, without noticing kung gaano kahirap maging influencer. Kasi, as an influencer, yung sa mga brands, kami yung nagtitake ng photos, kailangan creative ka. Yung sa mga captions, kailangan din creative ka. So, hindi lang siya more on posing or paganda lang. Yun, more on influencing them or encouraging them. Tapos, mula sa umpisa, kailangan talaga pag-isipan mo yung mga i-uploads mo. Tapos yun po.
How often do you get that kind of comment na hanggang ganda lang ang puhunan nyo?
For me, wala pa naman po so far.
So, pero sa mga kakilala mo, may nasi-share ba silang ganong mga frustration na sinasabi na, ay, hanggang ganda lang talaga to?
Yes po, parang sa kanila daw, parang minamaliit sila, hindi nila, parang request lang ng request na, ay, promote mo to, ganon. Tapos, parang iniisip ng iba na basta nagbigay lang ng product, okay na, ganon.
Okay, kasi, alam ba, isa akong brand. How would I approach an influencer pag gusto ko silang kunin na mag-represent ng aking produkto?
For me po, yung ginagawa ng mga brands most of the time is that parang magme-message po sila formally, i-introduce yung brand and yung offer, whether it's an X-deal or my payment, ganun po.
How often, how often do you accept yung mga brand collaborations? Kasi I think as an influencer, you have the freedom to accept or decline a brand, diba?
Yes.
So, ano yung criteria mo para kunin mo ang isang offer ng particular brands?
For me po, talagang ini-stalk ko siya, ini-investigate ko kasi I don't want to risk my name kasi once na in-accept ko siya, nakadikit na yung name ko doon. So, ayun, tinitingnan ko if okay yung product, if it's working, and if na-accept ko po siya, then yung product hindi siya ganun kaganda or effective. I'll be honest, sinasabi ko talaga sa owner about my reviews. Tapos yun, ganun po.
I think that's a more professional way to approach this kasi I've known people na brand ambassadors din. Kinukuha nila yung deal, pero ginagawa nila ng public review ng pag-ayaw nila yung product. Parang, nung nakita ko yun, it's a bit of, napakasampal sa mukha yun na binayaran ka nung brand. Tapos, sasampalin mo sa mukha yung nag-sponsor siya. Pero at least sa'yo, how do owners take that criticism? Kasi for sure, hindi rin madali pakinggan yung gano'n, lalo na sa influencer.
More on positive po para sa kanila kasi actually, I work sa dalawang brand na ganun yung ginawa ko na hindi effective or yung mga packaging hindi nag-i-spill. So, I message them and I approach them. Tapos, they ask for my recommendations or kung ano yung masasuggest ko. They always take it in a positive way. Siguro, depende na lang how you address the problem or yung feedback mo.
Tawag nito, isa sa mga, ito, curious ako, kasi before we start this interview, nagtanong ako sa iba kong mga listeners, yung mga nag-PPM lagi sa akin, ano yung mga gustong itanong. Ang isa sa mga naalala ko nag-question sa akin, totoo ba na kailangan mo maging may itsura ka to start being an influencer? Kasi most of the time, yun yung nakikitang trend ng mga tao na every time there is a rising influencer, there is somewhat na may itsura talaga siya. Kaya siya nagbo-boom as influencer. On your take, Nicole, ano nga ba talaga ang kailangan? Kailangan ba talaga ng ganda lang? Pogi lang? Or is there something more para mag-start ka as an influencer?
For me po, hindi lang. It's all about the looks. For me, how you influence other people and yung advocacy mo. So, pinasok ko tong brand na to or being an influencer because I have this advocacy in a way na I want to influence them na they should be confident enough na not because you don't look or feel beautiful doesn't mean you ganun ka. Kasi for me, you don't have to fit the society standard in order for you to be called beautiful. Parang sa sarili mo, dapat alam mo na maganda ka, embrace your flaws, and everything like that. So, hindi siya kailangan na ganda ka lang. As long as you have the will and the heart to influence other people, that's all we need.
Okay. Anong tawag nito? Isa sa mga naaalala ko kasi, isa sa mga notable na experiences namin with different influencers is that may ibang influencers na nagvo-vlog, may ibang influencers na branding lang. Pero on your end, as I search your profile, hindi ka nag-start ng vlogging. Unlike some of the, even TikTok nga, halos hindi ko nakita na may TikTok ka. So parang parang bago siya. Para sa akin bago siya kasi ang alam ko lang talaga when it comes to ambassadors and influencer, once you have this kind of audience, automatic transition ka na for YouTube or TikTok. So on your case, bakit hindi mo siya nasisimulan even though you have the potential to do that?
Actually po, meron akong TikTok. So, sa IG naman, I have IGTV. Pero it depends on the brand if magre-request sila. Pero nowadays, more on live ako posting. Kasi pag vlogging, time-consuming since magagraduate na ako, ganon. So, I have to maintain my grades and also may mga live events, so hindi ko na siya ma-handle if ever na mag-vlog ako, mag-edit ako, may brand, tas may pasok. So, parang time-consuming siya. And also, I'm afraid sa tao. There are times na kahit mag-vid ako, hindi ko alam sasabihin ko. So, yan pa.
Parang it's kinda ironic and shocking. For sure, malalaman ng mga tao na may mga post mo sa social media when you model a product or when you are modeling yourself. Lumalabas, ay wow, ang confident niya pala. Tapos, pag narinig nila yung ganito, I think that's pretty normal and a pretty common understanding ng mga tao na just because nakita mo siyang confident sa pictures niya, it doesn't mean na pwede mo siyang basta-basta lang i-approach or kausapin. Kasi parang iba yung method nila, di ba?
Actually, for me po, I was born on stage, to be on stage, but I was not born to speak in front of many people or crowd on stage. Parang more on like post lang, ganon, without talking talaga.
Parang you let your action present itself.
Yes po.
Oh, pero since you love doing that, nag-take ka ba dati ng mga more on theater arts? Kasi there is this performance sa theater arts na wala ka talagang gagawin, more on dancing lang talaga, action siya. Were you ever interested in doing that?
No po. Ang na-try ko lang na parang practice or what is yung sa modeling lang talaga. Yun lang.
Saan ka nagsimula for modeling?
Way back when I was grade 11 or incoming grade 11, sa Naga pa ako na nagte-training. So, bale, from Pili to Naga, para lang mag-training ako, pupunta talaga ako sa Naga.
Oh, wow. Tapos ilang years ka before talagang nasabi mo na, uy, magaling na ako mag-model?
Nag-start ulit po ako from scratch talaga or from the bottom. So, recently lang ako, parang na-feel ko na why not bumalik since pandemic naman, wala masyadong gagawin. So, ayun, trinay ko po parang during pandemic.
So parang doon na rin nag-start yung pag-boom mo as a brand as an influencer. Parang yun yung journey mo. Very, ano tawag nito? 2 years in the influencing scene is still young. Totoosin, 2 years is still young sa ganun. And divert ako ng konti sa topic na yun kasi you said kanina, as an influencer, you should have an advocacy. And in order for you to have an advocacy, for sure na experience mo yung mga bagay na gusto mong i-advocate. You experience the lack of confidence. So, on your part, ano yung mga moments in your life na kung saan halos nawala yung confidence mo sa sarili mo and how did you overcome that?
Before po, I was bullied before. Like, antaba, maitim, ganon, nung during elementary days ata until high school. So, parang ako, may mga friends ako na parang ini-inspire ako na be confident, don't mind other people. So, parang ako actually may iniipon akong letters galing sa kanila na ini-inspire ako to be more than what other people think. So, yun yung ginawa kong way para makabangon or makagain ng confidence. Kasi, ang ginagawa nila, like sa brands, nag-request talaga ako ng letters sa kanila. Like, for them to boost my confidence. So, pag nababasa ko yun, parang magaan sa pakiramdam and also, at least parang ngayon, hindi mo na kailangan i-prove yung sarili mo kasi alam mo sa sarili mo na hindi ka lang ganun. Na ang most of the time for me, ang na-feel kasi nila or ang sinasabi lang nila is yung mga negative, ganun, without thinking kung ano yung impact sa ibang tao or minsan kung anong impact nila dun sa mga desisyon na gagawin. So, para sa akin, in order for you to gain your confidence, kailangan mong i-embrace yung flaws mo na kahit marami kang flaws or imperfection, it must start within yourself. Kailangan mahalin mo yung sarili mo and for sure the rest will follow. So, ayun, parang pag nakikita nila na mahal mo yung sarili mo and parang wala kang doubt sa sarili mo, for sure they will appreciate it.
Ano tawag nito? Hindi siya yung punto na ikaw ay ano tawag niyan, yung the way you recover yourself from bullying, hindi ikaw yung gumante, di ba? And looking at your post, nagulat ako na from your story, gulat ako, hindi ka nagpo-post na, ito na ako ngayon, sa ano na yun, take that you bashers. Kasi karamihan, I think kahit ako, I think that would be my flaw na if I ever experience that kind of level of bullying, tapos na-achieve ko yung ganong certain level of success na nagigain mo ngayon, parang gusto kong ipamukha sa nila, ito na yung binubully, ito na yung binubully. Pero, speaking of that sa bullying, I will tap this, a very sensitive topic. Pero, the moment na nag-start ka mag-boom sa social media, were any of your bullies reach out until now? Or talagang after high school, wala, clean slate lahat?
Reach out in a way na parang kino-congratulate nila ako, ganon, mini-message nila ako, which is a good thing. Kaya siguro hindi din ako gumante or whatsoever kasi nakita ko din na they were so proud, nagbago sila, and I think that is more important kesa balikan mo yung past mo And yan po.
Okay, and dagdagan na natin yung sa success po kasi one of the challenges of being a social media influencer, a brand ambassadress, and isa sa mga nakwento din sa amin is yung mga nagpi-PM sa iyo na kung sino-sino na even hindi siya brand deals, hindi rin siya yung mga collaborations, just to message you, di ba? What are the common messages na nare-receive mo na nakakatawa, nakakainis, nakakadiri, and how do you handle that messages?
Most of the time naman po, yung mga random messages like, uy, nakita kita sa page, ganon. Ay, ang ganda mo. They appreciate my photos. Yung mga ganon lang naman po, most of the time. So, parang, I just thank them and parang ini-inspire ko lang din sila kasi most of them parang gusto din maging influencer or ambassador. So, parang ako, why not try? Tapos, some of them, tinutulungan ko na lang din na makapasok sa industry. Yun po.
Speaking of that, paano nga ba makapasok sa industry? Magpo-post lang ba ng mga pictures until ma-discover, or is there someone na magandang i-reach out para may maggumabay sa'yo in order for you to grow as an influencer?
In order to grow as an influencer po, siguro for me, you have to reach out sa brands or if pakita mo yung mga portfolio mo, mga gawa mo, and all that. And be confident and always approach people in a nice way. Huwag yung parang sobrang yabang mo na kaka-start mo pa lang, biglang gano'n na.
May mga ganun ba talaga? Na
Yes po. Na parang, siguro how would I say this? In a desperate way na in order to get the brand, masyadong nagpapapansin, ganun. Most of the owners na parang hindi nila gusto yung ganun. If gusto mo maging influencer, be active, keep on engaging sa mga post, ganun. Manonotice ka rin, even kaka-start mo pa lang.
And another thing na napag-usapan natin off record is that nagsisimula ka makipag-collab with different photographers para kuhaan ka ng mga photoshoot kasi dagdag rin yan sa portfolio ng mga photographers, 'di ba? And I think to those na nag-start na gusto maging influencer, I think that would be a good start, reaching out to photographers tulad nung ginawa mo. And one thing na na-notice ko sa Daet compared nung nasa Albay ako is that ang daming nagra-rise, daming nagsisimula na mga influencers. And on your personal opinion, why do you think more influencers are starting to appear ngayon sa Daet?
Siguro po for me, due to pandemic din, kasi diba, most of the students, kasi more on sa influencer nowadays, mga students. So, they want to earn money din, and of course, they want to be noticed, to be that someone that other people admire. Siguro ganun.
Okay. So, parang it's a form of connection na rin kasi,
yes,
yun nga, like you said, pandemic, halos wala ka din namang makausap. So, and when it comes to the studies naman tayo, I am very interested in your course, which is BS Tourism, di ba?
Yes.
And one of the things na na-realize ko is that tourism is very tough ngayon as sa pandemic nga, as in grabe. And on your end, why do you think should people take more importance sa tourism? Kasi ngayon mapabayaan na yung industry, hindi na na-highlight. So, on your part, ano ang pwedeng gawin ng mga influencers, and at the same time, ano yung halaga ng pagpapahalaga ng mga tourism natin dito particularly sa Daet, since nandito tayo?
So, para po sa akin, I would like to use my voice, of course, na to influence them, to keep on engaging, na mag-promote ng mga tourist destination. And of course, without damaging it, parang more on sustainable tourism tayo in a way na we should parang less negative impact and more on promoting and developing those tourist sites, ganun po. So, para sa akin, ang lagi ko nilalagay sa itinerary ko pag gumagawa ako, may nakalagay sa likod talagang note na leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but photos, and kill nothing but time. For me, that is important in sustaining our tourism or pangalagaan yung mga tourist destinations. Kasi nowadays, parang pag nakikita nila yung tourist attraction, hindi nila iniisip na ay baka masira or baka may magawa silang mali. Without thinking na ganun, although natural yun na parang, syempre nag-enjoy na tayo, ganun, so parang makakalimutan na natin. Pero we always have to remember na yung nature natin or kung ano yung nakapaligid sa atin, parang hiram lang natin yun. So, we have to take care of it and pag nasira din naman yun, tayo rin naman yung mag-face ng consequences eh. So, we always have to take care of it.
Okay. And at the same time, during your booming career as an influencer, ano yung mga learnings mo during being in the industry na sa tingin mo pwede mo siyang ma-apply when it comes to your degree or the future career mo when it comes to, syempre, automatic pag tourism ang tinapusan mo, ang expected is you will be handling careers that focuses on tourism. So, ano yung impact ng pagiging influencer mo doon sa magiging potential career mo?
Siguro po for me, since nowadays yung internet and social media, yun yung easy access para makapag-communicate sa ibang tao. So for me, that would be important, yung connections mo. So sa tourism naman po, since yun yung sabi ko sa mga listeners ganun na they always have to think before kung anong gagawin nila. So as an influencer, I can use that para to keep on reminding them. And also as an influencer, di ba po may mga influencer or mga vloggers na nagpro-promote ng mga tourist destinations, I can also use that to attract more people to visit a certain place. Because for me, bago mo i-promote yung tourist destination or ibenta yung tourist destination sa ibang tao, you have to experience it first para at the same time alam mo na yung gagawin nila or alam mo na din yung mga sasabihin mong do's and don'ts sa kanila. At least they are aware and also you are aware of it.
Okay. And when it looking at you sa mga nakikinig natin face to face itong ginagawa namin looking at you and looking at your portfolio, you seem like you are very happy doing this career as an influencer. But at the same time, for sure, like all careers, like all lines of work, may mga times na nafo-frustrate ka rin sa career mo, di ba? I think it's normal. It's normal. Pero on your part, ano yung frustrating or stressful parts when being an influencer?
Siguro po, pag marami ka talagang brands, yung time-consuming siya and also time management, especially if you're still a student. So, yun yung nakaka-frustrate na there are times na magsasabay-sabay yung mga dues. Like, deadline nung brand, kailangan makapag-post ka or makatake ka ng pic. Tas you have exam or kailangan mo mag-aral, ganon. So, yun po. More on time management yung pinaka nakaka-frustrate.
But at the same time, blessing na rin yun kasi ang dami mong pero lalo na pag may may deadline ka sa school tapos sabay pa ng deadline ng brand. 'Di ba? Anong uunahin mo sa dalawa, 'di ba? And at the same time, part of being nasa line of work ng influencer, you experience collaborations with different artists or different ambassadors as yourself. While interacting with them, ano yung mga nakukuha mong insights sa kanila na na-apply mo rin sa'yo? It's either may napansin kang maganda or may napansin kang hindi rin maganda sa kanila, tapos ina-adjust mo yun sa kung ano ka.
For me po, siguro nung nag-umpisa pa lang ako, yung mga tips ng photographer, because nung unang beses ko po, meron akong mga nakakollab na mga photographer, tapos tinuturuan nila ako na paano ka makipag-usap sa mga photographer, ano yung mga dapat at hindi mo dapat gawin. In terms of brand naman po, yun din yung sinasabi nila na you always have to be down to earth and approachable as always. So yun yung laging nasa isip ko na kahit let's say you have a bad day, if you meet someone or may nakita kang tao, you always have to be like in a positive way na kailangan ngitian mo pa rin, kausapin mo pa rin, ganun po.
Okay. So far, sino yung pinaka-memorable mong nakakollaborate?
So far, memorable po si Sir Albert sa Laberto Photography, if I'm not mistaken. Siya yung memorable in a way na sa kanya talaga ako nag-start. Like, parang photoshoot po ng brand. Bago pa lang po ako dito. So, siya talaga yung parang nagpakilala sa akin sa mundo ng modeling or sa photography. Yun po. And hindi lang niya ako tinuruan about sa industry. Parang tinuruan niya din ako yung pagtitake ng photos, pag-edit. So, ayun po. Tapos naging friends ko na din sila.
Okay. And at the same time, pupunta tayo sa dark side of influencers. Ano naman sa tingin, kasi I think all industry has this. Parang may mga hindi rin magagandang images for that. Sa tingin mo, ano yung mga negative images aside doon sa nasabi natin kanina na ganda lang ang puhunan? Aside doon, ano pa yung mga dark sides ng influencers na gusto mong mawala na talaga sa paningin ng mga tao?
For me po, if we will look deeper, for me napapansin ko dun sa iba, although hindi ko pa siya na-experience, pero ang tingin nila sa influencer is parang madaling makuha. Na they always have a price for everything. So, yun po.
And speaking of price, how do you set your pricing? Is it, anong tawag nito? Kasi I think different influencers have different forms of pricing. It's either from the number of followers, number of subscribers, and one, hindi ko napapangalanan, one particular influencer na nakilala ko, ang rate niya is based on the appeal of the face. As in, yun yung ganda talaga ang puhunan. So, on your part, ano ang criteria mo when setting your rates?
For me po, kung ano yung pinapagawa nila and request nila, it depends. Like, for example, yung contract po, depende sa span. And also, if kung ano yung papagawa nila, like, for posting, ilang beses sa isang buwan, and gaano kalayo. And for me, kung anong klaseng brand ka, I mean like, if small business ka pa lang or nagbo-boom na, ganun.
And is there so far, wag na natin pangalanan yung mga naging collaborated brands mo, pero is there a brand na parang gusto mong maging part? Na yun yung pangarap mo na makakollaborate mo in the future?
So far
wala pa. Okay.
Wala pa.
And okay, as part of your career when it comes to modeling, 'di ba? How do your parents approaches you pagdating sa mga tips or guidance nila para mas mapaganda pa yung profession mo as a model at the same time kung paano ka makipag-usap sa iba't ibang tao?
Ang lagi po nilang sinasabi, you always have to be down to earth and be approachable. Yun lang naman po, and always be careful. Yun po.
Kasi actually being careful, padaming connotation yun. Kasi ayun nga, I think part of the modeling industry, padaming mga this will be sa mga audiences, this will be a bit sensitive kasi based on the interviews that I've done with different models din, parang there is this form of brasuhan na nangyayari wherein in order for you to get better projects, nakikipag-engage sila in sexual favors directly with managers, with photographers, and I think yun din yung precaution na binibigay ng parents mo para hindi ka ma-exploit. I think that's one of the things na like you said kanina, one of the biggest misconception ng karamihan ay madaling makuha ang isang model or influencer, which is nakakagulat, 'di ba? And I will put up a very interesting debate dito kasi as part of modeling, of course, you flaunt yourself, diba?
Yes.
You express your body, express your skin. And most of the time, people will label you as, ano tawag nito?
Trophy. Parang ganun.
Parang, ay, revealing masyado. Ay, walang modesty, diba? So, on your part, how would you address those kinds of, hindi naman siya, I think, issues, pero on those kinds of perspective na nakakawala ba talaga ng dignidad if you post something like naka-bikini, if you post something like reveal na yung halos lahat reveal na maliban na lang sa private area. So on your part, Nicole, how what's your say sa ganong argument ng mga tao?
For me po, it's okay as long as they allow themselves or may permission naman. Kasi it's your body, it's your rule. So walang pwedeng makialam doon. And it's a way na yun yung way mo para express yung sarili mo. So, why not be confident? For other people naman po na ganun yung tingin, maybe let's respect their opinion naman po. Kasi, di ba, we have different beliefs and views. Pero let's respect one another na lang on how they would like to express themselves. Kasi it's their body and it's their rules, so they can do whatever they want.
Okay, kasi yun nga, ano tawag niyan? It's a very, I think until now, naririnig ko pa rin yan ng ganyan. Ay, si ganito, nag-post na naka-bikini.
Yes.
Wala nang delikadesa. Ay. Sa part ko, nagiging tahimik lang ako kasi parang, anong tawag niyan? Pag wala ko masabing maganda, hindi na ako nagsasalita. Pag naririnig ko yun, sabi ko, anong connect? anong connect ng naka-underwear sa picture and the personality of the person? So parang ganun. And it is very interesting to get the opinion of someone na nandun sa mismong industry na yon. And most of the time, ang karamihan na nasa mga, I think, hindi ko naman nasisense sa'yo kasi most of the time nasisense mo sa ibang influencers the sense of hindi naman arrogance pero yung alam mo yun yung super sure
Yes,
sa sarili na to the point na lumalabas na mayabang na and hindi ko naman nakukuha yun sa'yo pero at the same time kailangan mo rin ng ganong may certain level of confidence ka pa rin para hindi kayong tawag yan hindi ka rin mapag-label as malamya, di ba?
Yes,
And
po.
on your part, Nicole, ano yung mga sa tingin mo kailangan mo pang i-improve sa sarili mo as an influencer? Ano pa yung mga kulang mo and dapat ihasa mo?
For me po, yung pagiging mahiyain talaga, yun, kailangan kong matanggal since I'm an influencer. So, also yung fashion. Kasi there are times na pupunta ako mall, nakapambahay lang ako, which is pinapagalitan na talaga ako na, you're an influencer, you have to be like this or you have to wear like this. Yung ganun po.
Okay, so parang may nile-level na sa yung set of expectations na kasi parang yun nga, as an influencer, parang maraming nakatingin sa'yo.
Yes po.
So you have to look the part and pero it's kind of ironic, di ba? Kasi if you look at another way na nagsusuot ka ng pambahay sa mall but ang pwede mo naman iba to, I'm just showcasing myself na hindi naman kailangan magbigay ako ng false sets of expectations sa mga audience ko. Parang there's that kind of perspective din, di ba? So sa part mo, saan ka nagli-lean towards? Na kung ano yung pine-present mo sa photos and videos, yun din yung dapat na makita nila in real life? Or kung ano yung nakikita nila sa photos and videos, tapos kung ano yung maabutan nila sa'yo in real life, yun na yun, bahala na sila kung anong gusto nilang isipin.
Siguro po for me, pareho, na there are times na I still want to be that private person na may boundaries pa rin na hindi porket kung ano yung nakikita mo sa social media, totoo or yun ka, yun po.
Okay, so parang, ayun nga, ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, one of the things na na-observe ng karamihan sa modeling industry or the influencer scene is that merong sense of false expectation na. Yung
Yes,
tipong, pinapakita mo, ay wow, ang ganda-ganda naman ito, pero it forces young kids or young people to be what's the word? To be insecure. Parang I think there is that limit, diba? So on your part, before I think this will be the second to the last question, on your part, how do you limit yung ganong yung ganong projection na you are presenting yourself, you are presenting your beauty. At the same time, you are still setting a realistic expectation nung sa mga audiences mo para, alam mo yun, hindi nila kailangan na
mag-fit sa standard.
Oo, na kung ano yung nararating mo.
Yes, po. So, for me naman po, ang laging nasa isip ko talaga, and lagi kong sinasabi sa iba na you don't have to fit in the society standard in order for you to be called beautiful. If ang way mo to express yourself is to be simple and to be private, then why not? If ang way mo to express yourself, yung katulad ng sabi kanina na yung too revealing and such, then why not? As long as you are confident, you should express yourself kasi that will not make you less human na porket ganyan nakapambahay ka lang, hindi ka na maganda. Kaya merong standard ang society talaga and nape-pressure yung mga ibang tao to fit on that standard kasi parang may boundaries na pag ganito ka lang, hindi ka pwede maging maganda and such.
Okay, kasi to add to your point, one of the core messages na maganda dapat malaman ng mga audiences, ng mga influencers is that pinipresent mo yung sarili mo, pinipresent mo yung kagandahan mo, yung products mo, or kung anong advocacy mo, not to show people na dapat maging katulad nyo ako,
yes,
but instead you are showcasing to them that I am presenting to you the best version of myself, so that's what you should do.
Yes po.
So parang ganong mindset kasi I think yun din yung magandang matutunan din ng mga fans and audiences na hindi porket nag-flaunt ng naka-bikini, maganda yung damit, it doesn't mean na kailangan ganun ka rin. Hindi naman yun yung mensaheng gusto nilang iparating sa inyo. Alam mo, kahit nagbebenta ka ng makeup, hindi naman, diba, for sure, makikita naman nila to sa profile mo lahat. Alas karami ng mga brands mo is for cosmetics, yes, diba? It doesn't mean na pag bumili ka ng cosmetic na to, magiging kamukha ka na nila. But at the same time, they will have the confidence na kung ano yung pinapakita mo. Kasi ganun, yun yung misconception ng karamihan na we have to clarify na ang role ng influencer is not one way lang. Hindi lang naman lahat sa inyo, hindi naman kailangan spoon-fed nyo yung advocacy ninyo. At the same time, kailangan din as an audience, we have to understand that reality na ngayon hindi nakikita kasi ang nakikita lang natin is mukha, the physical appearances, and that kind of limits us. So please, sa mga nakikinig, wag lang sa ganda wag lang sa itsura mag-base, and look beyond the obvious. Kasi for sure, and lahat naman ata ng influencers has different kinds of advocacy.
Yes po.
And hindi lang, dinadaan lang nila yan sa confidence nila. And to end this episode, before I ask my last questions, I have to thank you so much once again, Nicole, for this very insightful insightful discussion as your life sa influencer. And to kick off, or hindi mo pala kick off, sorry, to end this episode, one last question for you. Ano ang nakikita mo na pwedeng maging takbo ng influencing industry as the years go by? Kasi dati ang influencers dapat nakikita lang sa TV.
Yes po.
Ang transition ngayon, kailangan madami ka ng likes sa followers o sa social media. So if in case na itutuloy mo pa rin in the future years yung influencer mo, ano sa tingin mo ang pwede pang maging potential na form of audiences or form of pag-present mo sa sarili mo sa mga tao?
For me po siguro, since using technology and nowadays nagbo-boom na yung social media. Yung social media po kasi madaling ma-reach yung mga audience mo if sa social media, if sa TV or in personal, sobrang limit lang ng audience mo. So yun po, like mga technologies on social media, pwede siya magamit in order na maka-reach pa ng ibang audience and to influence them.
So parang, anong tawag nito? Dagdag content for social media, and hopefully dumating na sa point na makita na natin yung mga future vlogs mo. And that, I think na pag-usapan natin off air na you want to start,
yes,
but at the same time, the editing Pero minsan hindi na rin sa editing yan yung syempre,
Confident.
yung confidence mo talaga kasi if for the interest of everyone, magaling since brand ambassadors ka for makeup, yun ang gustong i-highlight ng ating guest ni Nicole, and hopefully may mga makikita tayong makeup tutorial videos in the near future. So I wish you the best of luck sa mga endeavors mo, Nicole, and again, if you want to follow Nicole, you want to avail some of her products na pinopromote, all of her social media links from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram will be linked down below. So please support our local artists. And with that, this is PJ of Chill Talks, and thank you so much for listening, and see you all next time. Bye-bye.